Well, a little over a month has passed now since my father died. Hamlet, king of the Danes, found dead in the garden. Here I sit making this inane video diary. The psychiatrist claimed it will help me to move on, but honestly, after a month I've moved on as much as I'm going to. On the bright side, the government never felt much loss, since my uncle stepped into the role of king rather quickly. Of course, that's not all he stepped into quickly. My father's barely in the ground a month, and here he comes marrying my mother. I'm far from comfortable with it, but he is the king, and she the queen. So, one odd occurrence today. One of the guards approached me, bearing this fantastic tale of seeing my father's ghost past midnight every night for this past fortnight. I would have discounted it out of hand, naturally, except my friend Horatio also approached me with the very same tale. I'm going to do further investigation into this tonight. I must be swift. The ghost was real. As I approached it last night, it imparted upon me a tale most chilling. That my uncle, the new king of Denmark, murdered my father as he slept in the garden. After it told me this, the spirit tasked me with avenging his death. Thus far, I have yet to come up with a way to enact this vengeance, but I did think of how I can gain time to plan it. I shall feign madness. Thus the plotters of this murder will think me a mere fool and ignore me. With this, I can buy time to gather evidence and avenge him. Avenge my father. Until then, these video diaries must be kept short. Farewell. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more. By a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream, aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. Oh, there's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, that undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills that we have, than fly to those that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er by the pale cast of thought. An enterprise of great pitch and moment, with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. It begins. I have hired a company to put on a play that I myself have written. Now, it is like any other play about a royal family, until the king's brother murders him as he naps in the garden, and marries his widow. Since I have yet to gain any physical evidence of Claudius's betrayal, his reaction to this scene will prove most insightful, I believe. Yes, the play is the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. I must away to meet with the minstrels and ensure they know their parts. tragedy has occurred. Ophelia has died, and worse, it was by her own hand. I am convinced it was I that forced her act. There's been too much death in this household. Even one was too much. And yet I fear it's not over. Ophelia's brother Laertes, similarly convinced of my role in this, has challenged me to a duel. I fear this may be when all the events of the past come to a head, and Claudius, God willing, will face his crimes. Oh yes, the play. Yes, when the predetermined scene came on, the king reacted just as I thought he would. I am now utterly convinced of the rightness of my course. The duel is to commence tonight. I hope I shall live to create one more of these video diaries, but I doubt it.